down.
Will you guys get out of the way for a sec just so I can see?
I can sit down and then I can come back up.
It says I have to turn the video.
Okay, I'll be right back.
What? No, for the actual. It says rotate it back, but it says we're live.
Watch out. Oh my god, that's sunny. Hi
Turn
guys.
camera.
Are we
said,
sideways?
Said, yeah.
Oh.
Here. I mean, that's not gonna work.
Hi guys, we're going live.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we're gonna try and figure this out the best we can. Here, hold it like this way and let's see what the shot, see if the shot of it.
Yeah, that's good. We have to get it to stay there.
It made us turn it to...
Does it turn that?
It won't turn.
Does this thing grip? Can it grip to this so that it's like
Sure.
sideways?
You can do like this.
Oh,
Boom.
awesome, smart. All right, cool.
Just gotta pray it doesn't fall. Do we have gaff tape?
So,
All right. Hi guys, bear with us. Can we just like set it up against here?
let's try that.
Yeah. And then I just have to be in it a little bit. Yeah. Hold it. Yeah, I think so. And that's okay. Should we get going?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone, I'm Whitney. I'm so excited that you guys are all here today to celebrate the launch of Bundle Organics at Bye Bye Baby. This has been a baby that a lot of us have been working on for a long time. We started this while I was pregnant. John, our amazing founder, started the company as a juice and tea company, and he had dreams to make it so much more. He wanted to fulfill women's needs who were thinking about getting pregnant, being pregnant, and nursing, and he wanted to make them feel like they had a trusted friend that knew the nutrients that they needed in their body, and could come to them and know that they were going to not only be nourishing themselves, but nourishing the babies that they were developing, and then their needs when breastfeeding. So I'm so excited. We've launched 24 new SKUs here at Bye Bye Baby. We have bites, we have bars, we have smoothie mixes, fizzy drink mixes, and the teas, and they're separated into the 3 different stages: fertility, pregnancy, and nursing. And I'm just really passionate about this because I am a new mom. And I have had a lot of needs, both physically and emotionally. I'm just so excited to be part of this team that really wants to help women on their journey to motherhood in the best way possible. So we've organized this panel today with some amazing people. First is Lauren Goris. So I wrote a little bit about each of them just to give you a little bit of insight. But Lauren always has the biggest smile on her face whenever I see her. Her enthusiasm and care for being a mom is infectious. She started her career as a hard news journalist and has transitioned into becoming an awesome entrepreneur, co-creator of Summer Fridays, a simple mask that leaves skin looking gorgeous whether you're hopping off a plane or just running out the door. And she's the creator of the website You and Lou.
Oh my goodness, gosh, I should hire you for PR.
Yeah. Okay, next is Jerry Hirsch. So she's the creator of the website Because I'm Addicted, a friend and amazing fellow influencer who has taught me so much about clean living. She shares inspiration for a lifestyle that feels good, especially when it comes to wellness. She's the new mom to Leo, born in the spring of this year. Please welcome Jerry. Okay, so then there's Timmy. Timmy is my everything and my partner in life. I feel like I'm reading my wedding. With a background in television production and development, Timmy was the motivation and creator for our YouTube series, I Love My Baby Butt. He urged me to talk about the not so fun stuff that comes with becoming pregnant and being a new mom. So we all have him to thank for bringing this much needed conversation to the surface. Please welcome my man to the stage. In my head, I had them like come walking in like very dramatically, but anyway, yeah, exactly. So I put together a list of questions that I wanted to go through with them, just so that we can just gain some insight into what it's really like to be a new mom, the hard things, the great things. Just their individual journeys, you know, because we all have such different, unique experiences. I think that it really helps to find validation, also learn new things from moms that are going through different things, as well as dads, because I think it's very important to get a father's point of view. We're not in this alone, and I think it's really important to educate our men so they can feel part of the process and also support us when we need the support, not be scared of it. Okay, so this is to all of you guys, and we can kind of go in order if that's easiest. I don't want to put the pressure always on you to answer first, so we can. Okay. But basically, okay. So my first reaction to being pregnant was just like immediately being scared. Like I wasn't initially super stoked. Like I was really just like shocked and scared, even though I knew it was possible that I could get pregnant. I was still very scared. So I just want to know like what your initial real reactions to being pregnant were.
I think shock probably for one, because we weren't trying for a really long period of time. So I think when I first found out, it was like, oh my gosh, this actually really happens. And you sort of like, you read the test and you read it like 5 more times, and you're going to the store and you're buying more and you're like, are you sure it's right? Yeah. So there was sort of that moment of like initial shock. And then I think it was a mix of so much excitement and then, also fear, because some of those things start coming in your head that you just hear from other people about, okay, your life is going to change, and will I be able to handle my career, and will I still be a good wife? And some of those fears kind of start to creep in. So I think it was a mix, but I was also so excited because it was something that I really, really wanted. So I think more than anything, I was really happy, but then kind of, as the months go by, slowly some of those fears kind of start to creep in. I actually didn't read a lot of baby books for that reason, to be honest. I almost didn't want too much information. I was like, ignorance is bliss. Yeah. I don't want to know anything.
Then you compare yourself to everything that you read, and if it doesn't go exactly the way that it did for this other person or this book, then
right. I almost attached to a certain idea of something, while at the same time I also didn't want to be fearful of something that could happen. So for me, it was better to not know and then to just kind of take it as it came.
I identify with a lot of the same emotions, but for us, it took a couple of pregnancies until we actually had a baby. So I think the first one, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm about to become a mom. And then that didn't work out. I think after that, it was like very excited, and I just wanted it to be healthy and viable. And then I went into over-prepare mode, and I like read all the books and did all the things that I wish that like my husband was this jumped onto, because there's so much you can't actually have. Yeah.
yes. And Google is also very slow.
Yeah.
Like when you find out you're pregnant, you immediately Google what you can eat, what you can't eat, and so it's so great. Like I was saying, to have bundle is like all organic, and it's it's good for you, so you don't have to second guess that. So yeah, how did you feel when you found out we were pregnant?
When we found out that you were pregnant, I felt great. Like you guys have none of this. You know what I mean? I was excited to like start our family, and all the stuff that you were gonna have to go through never even entered my mind. Like I had no idea what women went through aside from just the optics. And Whitney and I, we didn't read a lot of books or like study up on the subject, so it was all new to me. So all I felt was excitement, and like all the fear that you guys are talking about, like I got to avoid it.
Yeah.
And I'm just pretty lucky that way.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So, what was like the hardest part about being pregnant for you guys? I know for me, the first trimester was very difficult. Like, I almost couldn't really wrap my head around the emotional aspects of being pregnant because I was so focused in on just like how nauseous I was and how exhausted I was. So for me, like that first half of my pregnancy was just really the hardest phase. What was the hardest part for you two?
I think I was a little sick in the beginning, but for me it was actually the end that became hardest because I think for so long I was going at the pace that I had always gone at. And so if you want to be able to do everything at that pace, you want to kind of still be able to see your friends the way you were seeing them and go on your date nights and get your work done and work out and all of these things that I really loved. And then once I got to about 7 months, I was physically exhausted, and I realized, it was sort of the first time that I also realized, okay, motherhood is going to be a lot like this, where you have this grand idea of going, and then sometimes you're just sort of, it forces you to kind of pause and slow down, and it's like, okay, I've got to really take care of myself, baby. And so it was actually like a good lesson, I think, pre-motherhood, because it did sort of prepare, like that exhaustion and just sort of that forcing me to slow down prepared me for the fact that I wouldn't be able to go like quite at the same pace, especially as when you're a mom.
Yes, you're running as people, and so
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
For me, I feel like I had just sold a company, and I was like doing my blog for the first time on my own, and I had this like identity crisis about my career and who I was going to be if I couldn't like continue being a girl boss, if I was going to become a mom, and who am I? My whole life I've been like this really hardworking entrepreneur who's doing all the things, going, and it was very clear to me that that was sort of fading away. And I had so much pressure on myself about like what was going to be next, and I had live an Instagram and I'd see all my contemporaries like doing all these amazing things, and that was like really challenging for me. It was like separating my heart from my ego.
Yes, yeah.
I could definitely do something there.
Yeah, I think it's a huge identity crisis, especially for me after I had the baby. It really hit me a lot more. And I honestly think sometimes when you get to that point and you start questioning yourself so much, that's when it's time to go onto like that social media blackout, because I think that comparing yourselves to other people is just really dangerous, slippery slope that only leads to insecurity. And yeah.
I think too, like everyone's time is traveling, everyone's time is so different. You have to remind yourself of that. So, you were just talking about you just sold a company and then became pregnant. I sort of had the opposite lining of it, where and you don't necessarily plan it. You kind of have a calendar and say, okay, I'm just going to start my business then and then have a baby now. It's just sort of like everyone's journey is so different. But I think when you prepare yourself, that's what happens. I mean, I remember before, everything sort of went the direction it did now. I had like so many identity crises around my job and being pregnant and like crying over things. I didn't know where I was going in my job, and I felt like, well, how am I going to have babies and build, a career and all of this stuff? And then you do start kind of looking at what everyone's doing. But I think to just sort of trust whatever your timing is so helpful, because you also might have 5 kids and then 10 years after that start your dream career. And some people have their career first and then their kids. So I think it just, everyone's timing is different. I don't even necessarily know who choose it. It kind of, in a way, chooses us. So, yeah.
Okay, Timmy, this one's for you. What did you think or view was my biggest challenge, and did you feel like ever really overwhelmed about just having to be a crutch all the time, or not having such a hard time?
While you were pregnant,
Yeah.
I think like you getting exhausted at like that point in the day. I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You were just like, I'm done for the whole day. Was I didn't have a lot of experience in the role as caretaker, and so that was like was eye-opening for me because you know, selfishly leading up to this point, like you live your life for yourself, and you know, you get married and you guys are largely on the same page, but then when you know your loved one is on a completely different page, you realize like, you know, you need to take care of them and sort of forget about yourself, which was like a whole new, you know, non-selfish Timmy that needed to do. So that was
Yeah. Like your first foray into
caring about other people.
Okay. Okay, so now you're a mom, that's being a mom. What was for you guys the toughest thing the first few months? For me, it was definitely the breastfeeding. I feel like as much as people can tell you about breastfeeding, you don't really ever fully know how, at least for me, like terrible and challenging it is until you're in it. I was like, God, why didn't anybody tell me that it was possible that my nipples were going to feel like glass stars were slicing through them every second I fed? Like, why didn't anybody prepare me for this? So, yeah, what was the toughest thing for you once you guys had your babies?
The very beginning was just the exhaustion. Like
Yeah.
I just remember feeling so tired, and I wasn't quite prepared
that's okay. Like, you know, you had such a tough time breastfeeding, all the things you guys were just talking about were so tough that, like, I didn't, you know, I think maybe I went into it, like, a couple times, and, like, took 4 hours to not think about what was going on, but it wasn't really, like, a time where I was supposed to, like, be taking care of myself. Like, I was supposed to be taking care of myself. It wasn't like a time. But just, like, back to the breastfeeding thing a little bit, like, yeah, I wanted her to stop doing it. Like, I didn't understand her drive to continue to do it. And, like, you know, what makes sense is what you guys talk about now is mom jokes from, like, other moms saying, like, breastfeeding is best, and so you don't want to be a bad mom because that's, like, the worst thing you can imagine being. But the advice that we got from Ziva, who is a family friend and a child specialist, saying that, like, the family unit's well-being is the most important thing. So if a third of the family is struggling for the benefit of the other two, it doesn't really work like that. And so that made a lot of sense to me. And I was like, stop doing this. Like, I don't know, one adult who you could tell was breastfed or formula fed. So, like, what's the difference, you know? So, like, you know, I do applaud you for sticking something out, but, like, I was just, like, really hoping that you would stop as soon as possible. For her sake and then for all of our sake.
Okay, so just a couple questions. I don't know how we're doing on time, but
We're at 21 minutes.
okay, cool. Okay. So now we're like full-blown moms and dads. How do you guys like juggle your needs with your kids' needs? I know a lot of people ask me like, how do you find the balance between work and being a mom? And I always, I have a hard time with that. I really don't think there is a perfect balance, and I think like being able to be okay with not having a balance is finding a balance in a certain sense. So like, how do you, are you able to juggle your own needs? Like, are there days you do and days you don't? Like, some days you feel fulfilled, some days you feel like it's all falling
I have a really hard time answering this question too because I don't know how you can give 100% to your job, 100% to your husband, 100% to your child, and 100% to yourself because you can't place yourself in these people. And for me in the beginning that was really hard and I had to make some really hard choices and I like made the decision to take a step back from my career and put my child first, which to my point earlier about how hard that was for me when I was pregnant, what am I going to do? It was, a lot of that was ego versus heart. And no one really talked about that until I was at a dinner and I was like having a panic attack. This is after I had my child and I was like, I feel like I can't do it all and I'm so stressed out at work. And I was talking to this mom who happens to be Ali Webb who started Dry Bar. And she was the first mom who gave me this piece of advice and I was like, thank you, I don't hear moms talk about this. And she was like, I didn't start Dry Bar until my kid, my youngest child, was 8 years old. And you need to remember that you're going to have many iterations of your career, but you cannot get this time back for your child. So being a mom is what is a priority to you in this moment, and you don't feel you can do it all, like, that's okay. Like, you're going to work more so you can buy more things that you don't need, and you're not feel your kid. And I was like, you're right. And it was that permission to take a step back from all of this other stuff, which of course careers are important, and of course I have to work enough to like be able to provide for a family. But I had to choose what I was going to sort of remove a little bit of my life to start to feel like I had a balance.
That's a really good point. And I think, like, just really to the point about timing, I remember my dad always saying this too, like, life is really long. So to your point, it's like, there's a lot of time for us to be many things and many roles. And sometimes I feel like you kind of like find whatever was sort of meant for you. So it's like, there might be a time after you're going to have kids and then it's like, yeah, this idea comes to you. Or I think also a lot of these kids inspire different ideas. So you end up feeling, yeah, exactly.
I
This is
mean,
a perfect
obviously,
example.
like, this never, bundle happened obviously a little bit before me, but this like new iteration of it came from like what we feel we needed in our lives at this phase. And so yeah, I never thought that I would have something like this. And so it's so cool. All right, so now a little bit into like nutrition and exercise, just because obviously this is what this is all about. Like, how did nutrition and exercise play a role in your pregnancy and now being a mom? And how do you find your time for that? Because I know I follow you guys, and I know that that's important to you guys. And obviously, this came out a little bit after I was pregnant and breastfeeding. But like, how do you think this would have played a role in your life?
we're both on my counter, and my baby's on my counter. We're all on the counter. We're just all sitting up eating. I was like, look at me. I'm doing exactly like I'm doing.
My mom still doesn't sit down for dinner.
I was like, sit
She's
down.
here somewhere, I think, tending to
I
something.
love that
but-
we've got our dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like having that is, is really helpful. But I think also to the point about the workouts, like I really love working out. I mean, I loved working out before having my baby. I loved it while I was pregnant. It is like just personally my way of when I am having a really bad day, like sort of hoping it gets energy out. I just feel like I'm not as cranky.
Especially
It's
for
really
just having a
helpful.
baby when you like have extra weight, you don't feel good, and you want to just try to feel a little bit better. Like struggling with breastfeeding, you're struggling with everything else.
Yeah.
It's like one way better.
Right, and it's like one thing that just kind of lifts you up. But I just like made my baby part of it. And to this day, I think because I did it when he was starting so little, it's like this fun thing now. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to the gym. I have this like little room in our house that I made the gym. He's like, we're going to the gym. He's like, the gym. He's like sprinting to the gym, and he has like his own little baby waves. And so I got him some like gym toys.
excited about it.
He's
Yeah.
excited. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I'm not doing like an hour workout. It's like
Right.
20 minutes.
Right.
If he's in the room, it's like,
Yeah.
that's actually perfect. And it's fun. And we just like make these little baby workouts and like ultimate, or like I'll go if he's like not really having it, then they'll just like put him in a stroller and do like squats or like hold over coffee, and then I'm like literally doing the leg lifts on the stroller. It's just like okay.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll take him on a long walk. If we feel like we're not gonna have time for a workout, then we'll walk with our perspective.
Right.
Yeah. There's like little ways you can fit it in if you don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What is something no one ever tells you about being a mom or a dad that either you wish they would have told you, or any nugget of advice that you can give to anybody out there, like thinking about becoming a mom? I know that's vague, but you don't have to start.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me think of my answer. I mean, I don't have any advice because like we have no idea what we're doing, But I was thinking today, I was with Sunny, and like I wanted him to sit next to me just because like I wanted to, like be close to him, and like he didn't want to do it, and I had to stop myself and be like, all right, maybe being a good dad is about like letting him do what he wants to do and not really like what I want him to do. And I guess that sounds kind of like simple, but that's sort of what I try and keep in the back of my mind at all times. Like what do you want?
Yeah. Like a lot wants to be independent.
Yeah, like stop being selfish.
Doesn't want to be a doctor, but you want to.
Exactly, like release that. That might be tougher than like scooting him closer to me or like playing or like getting to the end of the book, but I just try and constantly remind myself.
Yeah, that's great.
I think so. I know like our point of all sort of the hard things that we go through, and like all the hurdles that I still am currently going through and adjusting.
Yeah.
I think like with that, I do have a lot of moments where I think, oh, this is hard, but I like myself, I like my life, I like my partnership, I like who I'm becoming so much more than who I was before I became a mom. And I think sometimes that's like a good reminder to myself too, that even when I'm kind of going through these hiccups, like I feel like this is so meant for me, and I feel so at home as his mom, and that part of it is so rewarding, so there's so many hard things and so many things that change, and of course I miss my alone time sometimes and all of that, but I don't know that I was like necessarily prepared for sort of like the joy I felt in the new direction, if that makes sense. Whereas I had a lot of fears even during my pregnancy of like a lot of what we talked about. How will I adjust my career? Will I be a good wife? Will I be even a good daughter and a good friend and all of those things? And while I might have less time, I really do like the person that I'm becoming, and I'm so inspired by him that I feel like I still wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny that you say this. I was thinking a lot about that question on the way here.
Yeah.
It's like a long way. And I feel like so much that you read about being a mom, especially on social media, are like complaints, like, oh, I'm so tired, and it's so hard, and that. And like for me, like I love
Yeah.
I don't see sunny anywhere around.
My baby was here right now. I'm like, he can't do great. I'm like, why do you have to? Yeah, I'm just really impressed.
Pretty amazing. All right, well, thank you guys so much. If anybody on our YouTube has any questions, we've just gone over, so message us, write comment on this video, ask us questions, and we'll respond. Thank you guys so much for tuning in at home, and thank you guys all for being here. Check out our new products.